Welcome back to Gaming with Crashworth. On today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about something a little different. It's my gaming journey. How I got to who I am, what games I play, the adventures I've had over the years, because yeah, I've been playing video games for many years. So how did I start? My dad went to a garage sale and he brought home the Nintendo Entertainment System. My brother and I were wowed. The adventures that we'd soon have would be legendary. The first game that I want to talk to you guys about is Final Fantasy. Now, my brother played this game and beat it, and I remember watching him play almost the entire thing. This was an incredible adventure, and I think there was only one save file in this. I have a couple stories with Super Mario Bros. 3, and all of them make me smile. The one that I'd like to share first actually goes to show why I created a YouTube channel, 25 years afterwards. Because I used to have my mom and dad film me on an old handheld cam playing this game. And I thought that was just the coolest thing ever, to have recorded footage on an old VHS tape of me playing Super Mario Bros. 3. And if I could find that, that would be so amazing. And the second one, we traveled to British Columbia often, to Shuswap Lake. And the one time we wanted to level up from playing our Game Boy in the car, and I'll get to the Game Boy in the car because we had so much fun playing that too. But we convinced my mom and dad to hook up their old, small, black and white television to the cigarette lighter of my dad's van. So we had this TV tucked as safely, as securely, we had blankets and everything smushed up against it so it wouldn't go, and it was kind of stuck between our knees. And we were playing this game, Super Mario Bros. 3, and we hit a cattle guard. And this cattle guard bumped the game so badly that it actually re-scripted World 1-1. So much so that the coin blocks, instead of being coin blocks, were actually black holes that if you jumped into them, you would warp to other parts of the zone. And one of which you jumped in, and the game literally sent you to not a coin heaven, but the opposite of that. So it was coins up in the air, everything was dark as if it was nighttime, but there was no land, there was no cloud, there was nothing solid to fall on. So you just went flying up in the air, you saw a bunch of coins up in the air, and then you immediately died. So yeah, we rescripted the game somehow. I've looked it up online. I've never seen anyone else be able to do this. This isn't just some Crashworth legend from when he was small. We thought it was hilarious. We were playing this for so long, but then it took about 10 or 12 restarts or resets of our console to actually get the game back working the way it should have. And I went from being very, very amused to very, very sad, very quick to very, very pleased that we fixed this exact copy of Super Mario Bros. 3. If you're enjoying what you're seeing from me and my channel, please like this video, subscribe, and click that bell to get all notifications. It helps me so much in the algorithm. I'm on a journey to get 500 subscribers, and I know with your help, I can get there. On those trips to British Columbia, we would of course play the Game Boy in the car. And yes, it was the chunky gray one. And yeah, we had to hold it up to the sun in the car to make sure we could see the screen, like some kind of Da Vinci Code, deciphering tool. And yeah, two of our favorite games before we got Pokemon Red, and that took over our lives, the Pokemon craze of the 90s, were Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, and Kirby's Dream Land. These were amazing platformers, and those were kind of the games we gravitated towards. We didn't really know RPGs or JRPGs at that time. So those games would come far later, and many of which I'm still learning about to this day. Paperboy, woohoo! You start off and you're on Monday, and you're trying to deliver all of your papers to the homes that are colored white. You've got different obstacles in your path, and once you get to Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, the game just gets so absolutely nuts. Adventure Island. I got so good at this game that, I could ride the skateboard for almost the first 2 levels without being hit. And last but not least, we've got California games. Now, if you've never experienced California games, the BMX, where, you've got this like kind of herpaderp guy on a bike and you're doing these wacky tricks that say dorky and stuff like that. It's really wild stuff. The skating, you play this girl with a ponytail and you're jumping over cracks in the sidewalk and ice cream, and half the time you face plant. Yeah, it's fun. And hacky sack, yeah, it has to be seen to be believed. You can tell I'm getting really excited about California games. What do I remember about the Super Nintendo Entertainment System? My brother and I never actually had a SNES, and I purchased one years afterwards. So my connection to the SNES was actually, once again, on our trips to British Columbia, my parents' friends, their son had, yes, Super Mario World. And I, at any given chance that they would let me come over, I was over there playing this game. I could never have imagined a game being better than Super Mario Bros. 3, because I thought that game was God tier. And this game was amazing. At that time, my connection to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was really weird, because obviously I knew about Super Mario World, and then the only other games that I knew about, because we didn't read magazines, we didn't know about upcoming games, we didn't hear very much about what others were playing on the console. So what we did know was through my parents' friends' kids. So at that time, I knew about Wayne's World, and I knew about The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past and Donkey Kong Country. So to me, that was the SNES. I didn't know it to be an RPG, a JRPG powerhouse. I'd learned about these games far too late, when they were already hundreds of dollars. Yeah, it's just, being a goofy kid, not really sure what was coming out, but years afterwards, I found a SNES, just the console, at Value Village, and I had enough cash, so I purchased it. So that was when our true connection with the SNES began. So that's where we began to learn about games like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. This game is incredibly hard, and the reason why I'm showing it is, once again, my brother was so good at this game that he beat the game, learned the troll part at the end where you have to find a key and you have to go back to the start and play the entire game again without dying, of course, only to be able to unlock the end boss and to defeat it. I loved watching him play, and it's one of my favorite gaming memories with this SNES game. So cool. The Nintendo 64, this game-changing, industry-changing console, came out in North America in 1996. So that would have made me 7 years old on release. Now, we didn't get our hands on an N64 for, I think, the first 2 years of its release. My recollection of how I first was introduced to the N64 was sleepovers, playing GoldenEye, playing Mario Party, playing all these fun games, and it was the talk of the schoolyard. The first game that I wanted to share about is actually the iconic Super Mario 64. My first introduction to this game was, at all places, The Dentist. Just an amazing game. World 1-1 was all I could play at that time before being called in. So yeah, I was always super excited to go to see The Dentist when they had an N64 in the waiting room. I have more memories of this one, of playing it once I got my hands on it myself. So you'll see that I've hopped into my brother's Super Mario 64 file here. And yeah, he's got all 120 stars. He was an excellent gamer. So I'm going to wander over here. Yep. Oh, I'm gonna fall down. Okay, I'm gonna swim around a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the cannon and I'm gonna go see Yoshi. I'm not sure how many of you got this far in the game. I'm sure many of you did. Christmas 1998 was incredible. It must have been a little bit before that, or that year, that my brother and I got our own N64. We convinced my parents to purchase us one. And yeah, on Christmas morning, running down the stairs and opening up The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was just... I don't even know how to describe how it felt to have our own copy of this game. My favorite part to this day of this game, and what I remember most fondly, is going to sound a little bit strange. It's not, the adventures, the temples. It is that opening scene when Navi is flying from the great Deku tree to meet Link, to wake him up to start just a iconic, legendary, of course, legendary, The Legend of Zelda adventure. This game here was probably one of the first times in the schoolyard. Friends of mine were ahead of me, some were behind, and we would all trade secrets and ask each other where they were, what heart pieces they had found, if they had found any of the golden skull tulas, of course. And one kid, just an absolute ledge, let me tell you, he had already beaten Ganondorf and Ganon. And when I got there to the end game, I got so good at taking down the dual form and bosses that, yeah, when my older cousin would come by, I would ask her if she wanted to watch me beat these end bosses. Obviously not the most scintillating content for somebody who wasn't nearly into games like we were. Diddy Kong Racing. This was our racing game. Until Mario Kart Double Dash on the Gamecube, we hadn't actually owned a Mario Kart game. Diddy Kong Racing was everything. And I remember this game so fondly because my dad would play this with my brother and I, and he got so good. Dad, we have to have a rematch at some point. He got so good at this, and we would know all the cheat codes off by heart. Trying to take down Whizpig the last time was so hard. There was so much content in this. You had the single player, you had a bit of a free roam mode before Mario Kart World. This game, I'm just gushing over it. I love Diddy Kong Racing. Just magical. StarCraft 64. Now I know what you're going to say. This is the peak way to play StarCraft. No, it's not. This game is very hard, but this is how my brother played StarCraft. Now I know it sounds a little outrageous when talking about StarCraft 64, but my brother and I used to make forts. My parents would keep boxes for years and years so we could build just the most outrageous creations. There were tunnels, everything you could imagine. The pinnacle of this fort, we're talking blankets, we're talking pillows, completely enclosed around our TV at the time, where I would watch my brother play the campaign of StarCraft 64. He was so good at this game. You'll see some of my footage. It's basically the tutorial. So I'm learning, and I think after playing this, kudos to him for playing this on the N64, but if I'm going to play StarCraft, I'm probably going to play it on the PC. Pokemon Stadium. Now, you can probably tell that I'm not as excited about this one, and there's a story behind it. I was so excited for this game. This was the first time leading up to its launch that I had ever read anything about a video game in magazines. I was so big into Pokemon at this time. You know, we began once again playing Pokemon Red on the Game Boy. That old chunky gray one was still kicking, of course. I got a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Yellow. I was really excited about this one because I thought, you know, 3D Pokemon, the adventure is going to be so cool. There's going to be an open world. There's going to be so much going on. And remember, I was small, so I was reading about the game, but I probably had something bigger in my mind than what it was. So when it launched, and it was just the stadium battles with really no great adventure at all. I remember my mom coming downstairs, and she had heard about this game for months and months. And I was so crushed to describe to her that it was only okay. What did I like about this game? Let's just get it right, the N64 transfer pack actually allowed me to play my Pokemon Yellow on the TV screen, and that was a game changer. The mini games are what a lot of folks recall as well, and yeah, they are fun. I can't talk about the N64 without talking about Super Smash Brothers. This was an incredible game. So this would have been my first ever fighting game, and to play with the entire Nintendo cast, oh, that was so cool. I got really good at Donkey Kong. Speaking of Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong 64. I actually still remember exactly where I was when I picked up 64 here. We purchased it, but then my mom said, oh, you know, you need to get a haircut. So I had to sit there so excited for this game, and that was like the slowest haircut in existence. When I booted up Donkey Kong 64 with the new expansion pack inside, yeah, I looked pretty rad with my new haircut. So that's something. My favorite Nintendo console before the Nintendo Switch, that is, was the Nintendo Gamecube. And my first introduction to the Gamecube was actually when I was able to rent one when I had my wisdom teeth taken out. The game that I was playing was, yes, we're talking Luigi's Mansion. I was kind of ridiculous growing up, and still am, of course. I was scared of everything.
Kind of a scaredy pants.
But I thought, of course, I could play Luigi's Mansion. I was, you know, in middle school, I'm going to say at that time. I was doing well, and then all of a sudden, I turned on all the lights, everything was improving, and then all of a sudden there was the electrical outage, and the lights went out, and the ghost came back, and I was done. I'm gonna go back to Luigi's Mansion because I can't let this game beat me. One of the things my now wife and I bonded over was our love for The Legend of Zelda. I want to tell you guys about my first date with my wife. We were at a coffee shop. We were just enamored with each other. I must have drank about 9 cups of coffee because I was so nervous. We were loving talking about Twilight Princess and The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. She stepped away to use the phone, and the entire cafe turned to me and asked me, "Are you on a first date?" And I knew she was coming back, and I was like, all right, cafe, chill. Like, yes. And they said, "It is going so well." And I just remember that so much. It was so adorable. So yeah, these two games, I loved them when I had them before I met her, but now these 2 games are just so special to me because of our shared bond. I have a pretty special story when it comes to the Wii U. In 2013, I, along with everyone in the town that I lived in and worked in, went through a devastating flood event. It was sheer devastation. I lost everything I had in that apartment, and that included all of the games I had there, which was my Gamecube collection, my Super Nintendo collection, and most of my Wii games as well. A really good friend of mine, he helped me out by scrubbing the Super Nintendo games. A lot of them were working again, but obviously they had a rattle going on inside them, so inside they were just wrecked, but somehow they were still holding on. My friends got together and purchased me this particular Wii U, and that meant everything because I could play these games, the Wii games and the Wii U games, and that was spectacular. Again, thank you to everyone who came together in that year for me and bought me the Wii U, which was so much fun. Yes, it's the Nintendo Switch, and this is my wife and I's favorite console of all time. This is the one we were playing when we got engaged. This is the one that we were playing when we got married. We've had so many adventures on the Nintendo Switch. The Switch is the console that I was playing when I made Gaming with Crushworth. I've made so many amazing connections, so many friends. We've had so many great experiences with all of you. And for everyone who's commented, subscribed, liked, it means everything to me. And it's all part of this gaming journey that I've been on. So I can't wait for you guys to come with me, come with us on this adventure through games and see what's in store next. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Gaming with Crushworth. You know me, I'm always cooking up content right here in Crushworth headquarters. But until next time, you'll see me later. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, and crush that bell to catch all my videos. And get this, reviewing games is new to me, YouTube isn't. Gaming with Crushworth joins Traveling with Crushworth in the Crushworth Extended Universe. What games are you playing? Let me know in the comments below. See you later.